I always forget how loud that music is.
May have to re-record it.
Yes.
I was like, but then I start getting into it. So I'm just like,
Right. I guess I wanted like the whole wake up call thing, but I think it's just a little bit too much. I'm gonna have to re-record it and tone it down. But anybody, uh, welcome, and good morning. Welcome to another episode of Breaking the Block, where writers help writers and authors help authors, and we try to get things together so that we can publish our books. Right, right.
yes.
And I will let Rach go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay. So I'm Rachel D. Adams. If you want to look me up, I also have I've got 2 series. Hopefully, will be done by Q1 of next year, if not sooner, because I'm almost through book 5. Anyway, um, so we've got the Dragon Tasker series, which I write with Dawn McClellan, and she should be in chat because we've been chit chatting this morning and doing goofy stuff. Then I also run Aggressively Helpful Writing Advice, where I share my experiences with other writers and authors, anybody that's up and coming. Just advice that I feel like sometimes gets ignored or doesn't get mentioned by other people, especially like gurus and stuff that are in the field. So I just want to put that out there because I need some more. I need some more viewers on my Substack, y'all. Come on.
Yes. And I will be popping the links here soon. So we've got a cat paw, we've got Rach pulling double duty, Dawn is here, and we've got a Laura and a Chandra. Turned it down to 30% in anticipation. Yeah, I'm gonna have to redo that.
Well, and
Um,
see, anything that you make on Canva, I wind up having to pull that down to like 35% because
yeah,
it is loud.
yeah. Um, I didn't realize how loud until this. So I'm like scrolling through my Canva trying to pull the video so I could go ahead and do it or remind myself to do it. But apparently it's been a while since I've made it. All right. So, for those of you who do not know me, hi, I'm writer Sam Wicker. I am a romantasy author, and I have 3 books published. Uh, and yeah, it's been a journey for writing related stuff. So if you have a question or if you have a block that you would like to hash out, be sure to drop it in the chat. If you put a Q at the beginning, it'll be easier for us to catch, but you don't have to really worry about that too awful much, but it's always a plus. All right. And we have, since we were talking about this backstage a little bit, I'm going to pop this question up here first. If it'll move. There we go. So, vetting book conventions and festivals and the like, do you take a chance on the new ones or do you pull back and just stay with the tried and true?
We've been vetting them. I think the only one that we kind of jumped into was the Eastern North Carolina Renaissance Festival, and that was 2 years ago. And we just decided it was in the budget. Let's try it out. Besides, we wanted to go, so it was kind of like a double thing. Let's go. Let's figure it out. We had a good turnout. As chaotic as it was, things worked out. We wound up with a profit, and that was great. But we had already looked into the Renaissance Festival itself and realized that there was at least one author that we kind of knew of that was going to be there. So we knew authors were welcome, especially fantasy authors. And we also knew that it was a highlight of this area. So there was going to be a lot of people going to it, even though it's kind of in the middle of nowhere when you think about where Kinston is. So
Mm-hmm.
so there was that. Like there were factors that were like, oh yeah, let's lean into it. Now, recently, we decided to check out some more stuff. and we've come back going, questioning like that. There have been, especially when it comes to author signing events, a lot of problems going on with those.
Yeah.
So I've kind of pulled back on that. I would rather go to a themed anime con, Comic Con, um, Renaissance festival that allows for authors, different things like that, or even local events that they're like, oh, you're a local author? Sure. You can, apply and see if we pick you for this event. Um, for one thing, it's not a lot of travel time. It's not a lot. If it's close enough, we don't even have to get a hotel or anything. And then, we can, and this year we've actually checked some out without actually having a table. We've just gone as guests to look around and see what other people think.
Right. Um, so there's, what is it, 4 different conventions that TikTok has went over and blasted. Uh,
Scorched,
yeah,
scorched.
torched, tanked.
And these aren't the only ones, y'all. Like there's been some that haven't been mentioned that did some hinky stuff.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So just be careful. TikTok is a good place to search out these people who
Facebook
run these conventions. Yeah. So yeah.
authors
Another,
on Facebook do not mind dropping the T.
yeah,
Not at all.
yeah. Another thing is if you have gone to conventions and book festivals and stuff before, and maybe make friends with some of the vendors and the artists there. That way you can even ask them, hey, I'm looking at this convention right here. Have you heard anything about it? Have you been there?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Um, I'm blessed with a husband who knows everybody in the convention scene. So, well, it's more anime convention scene. We're learning more about the comic convention scene. And we are testing the waters in the book convention scene because obviously we need to. But yeah, there's plenty of those vendors that we are friends with or he's friends with. And I have a few people that I can ask around. So if you can't find anybody, hit me up. I might know somebody.
James needs to hit you up too because of his anime books.
Yes, very much so.
He does a
Animazement,
specialty.
yeah, Animazement, highly recommend. Really, really do. Especially if you have art pieces that go along with your book, do it.
Hmm.
um, all right. Let's see. We had Miranda, and speaking of the hubs,
Hmm.
and a Mel. All right. And we've got a question from Laura as well. How do you approach character inferiority? How much is direct thoughts versus prose?
I don't understand the question.
So, is this a character who is like self loathing, self depreciating? They don't have courage in themselves or belief in themselves? Is this what you mean, Laura?
And you're trying to, or is it that you're trying to portray that the character feels this way about himself, and so you don't know whether or not to put more into the outward dialogue and prose versus his internal dialogue? Is that what? That's why I'm just trying to make sure I get it right before I answer it. Because
Right.
I've played several characters that are kind of like that. I used to play in fan fiction. We had a fan fiction group that was based, well, it was Marvel, but it was, we always grabbed characters that didn't often get a lot of screen time when it came to the comics. And I chose to grab hold of Speed, Tommy Shepard. People know people who watch Marvel Cinematic Universe know him better as one of the twins from Wanda Maximoff,
Hmm.
and and even in the comics, the way he's portrayed is he comes off as just this huge ego fest, but internally he is kind of an insecure guy. So it depends on how you want to portray it, outside versus inside.
Okay, here we go. How much do
Ah,
you italicize as interior thoughts versus regular prose writing? How do you decide when to do which? Uh, See, this is. I have problems with these questions because I'm an intuitive writer, so I go with the feel
yeah.
of the scene. Uh, I think interior thoughts have more power to them. They hit heavier than just the narrator kind of explaining things.
I
That's
like to
my preference.
show I like to show
Yeah.
the actions through the actions and through um perspiration. Things that like shaking hand or uh all of a sudden these outbursts or something, stuff that an insecure person would do. um I show it more than writing it out as prose to tell. Then I take that and turn it into internal dialogue, or things like that. So I'm going to be the person that shows versus tells when it comes to indicating that they're insecure in prose. Then I'm going to do a lot more internal dialogue, because I feel like that really connects the audience further to that kind of person.
Yeah. And a lot of people who have high anxiety and don't believe in themselves do have a lot of internal dialogue because they're always thinking of how they could have made that conversation better or done something different, and this would have been the outcome or that would have been the outcome. So,
And
yeah.
speaking from somebody that is anxious, um, we will definitely go over a situation that we're about to walk into like 50 times in our head before we actually walk into it. And that situation may not be anything, but in our mind we've got all different kinds of scenarios going.
Yeah.
So that really, when I have seen a couple of authors do it. I don't remember off the top of my head, but where they actually go through some of these things in their head. Oh, I don't know if I should do this. This is, and then they get into their character gets into the situation, and it was, hardly anything, but
Mm.
that really shows how anxious they are.
Yep. Let's see. I think that is what is meant. It should be a mix of vocal self-depreciation and internal questioning. The vocal gives opportunity for others to challenge that thought process and help the character grow and stuff like that. Um, Rita says, good question. I have a character who does a fair amount of inner dialogue with italics. Don shows it with hesitancy. Um, them being vocal with prose adds or detracts from the scene. Yeah, the physical thing. Um, Usually when I'm this is just me. So like going to an interview or something, like Rach says, I go through every single scenario, and there's like 20 of them at least that I go through. But when I'm in the interview, I'm always doing something, touching my fingertips. There's always movement with me. So that is definitely a way to show. And it's not only my anxiety, it's also my lack of, um, the word just left me, confidence in
Self
myself.
confidence.
Yeah. Because I've never had confidence in myself, and I don't know why. It's just me being terrible to myself. I know.
As a reader, I prefer the physical stuff rather than the full on prose, describing the situation. Um, but that's not to say it's wrong to do that. It depends on the scene. It depends on how much time you've got in that scene to get it across. But yeah, I've just always preferred having my mind tickled with the visual because my mind does the movie thing. So if I'm seeing the character acting this way, his knees bouncing, he's got a bit of perspiration on his forehead. That means to me he's nervous, and I'm seeing this play out in my head. So I guess that when it comes to your audience too, that's going to be a big deal because if you've got somebody who has this ability to do that versus somebody who, and I can't remember the name of it, but they actually have to have everything described to them because they can't visualize it in their mind. That makes a
Dysmorphia?
big
No.
difference too. Anaphasia, what is it
Something
called?
like that. Yeah.
See, now I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah. My brain went dysmorphia, and I'm like, no, that's not it.
Y'all keep going. I'm gonna have to look this up.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Try to get back to chat here. Here we go. All right. Dawn says, I have a character, Nikita, that is constantly in her head. She likes trust in others and confidence in herself, but herself is seen more in physical than in her having internal conversations. Aphantasia.
That's it.
Thank you, Cat Paw.
Thank you. I was like, I'm close, but I can't get it.
Oh,
I just, it's like, I found it right as she said it. So I was like, okay, well.
Hey, Margaret. Remembered earlier than usual this time. Awesome. Yeah. And here we go. Aphantasia is the inability to voluntarily visualize mental images. It means a person lacks a mind's eye and cannot conjure up mental pictures of things like a beach, a person, or an object. And that is...
And I don't know what the percentages are, but I would assume that it's close to like 50-50. I just didn't know that people couldn't do that. Like for years, I didn't know that until I guess in my late 40s, I found out.
Yeah. I can't imagine what that's like.
Right.
Because I'm always in my head and always picturing things. So yeah. Okay. I'm waiting on this comment to pop up. If it will.
Laura says, I see nothing when I read or write.
Yeah.
So you actually have that. So, yeah, it's a balancing act when you're wanting to make sure that you're providing everybody that's an audience member that visual scene.
Same. I thought they were speaking metaphorically. Yeah. All right. Moving right along. So this is one that I pulled out of Heart Breathing's group, I do believe. When you're writing, do you write to a specific person, like a reader avatar or your parent or yourself? Or do you just tell the story as if you're reading it to a crowd? Or none of the above? You just write for writing's sake?
For me, it's none of the above. It's the characters. I see what's happening in my mind, and I go forward with writing the characters, and then we go, especially with it being collaborative writing. I write what my character would do, feel, etc., and then she writes what her character would do, feel, etc. and then we go back and we add the flourish of the description of the area that they're in, the settings, the outer things that may influence them. That's how I write. Um, and when it comes to like emotion and stuff, I may go back and add more emotion to it, because at first, that first draft is kind of like right in the moment. We're really just like boom, 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 sometimes back and forth really quick. And then I go back and I'm like, oh, this character would definitely be sad right here, and definitely be mad and want to punch something right here. And so then we go back and flourish it.
Yeah. Cat Paw does the same thing. I listen and write it down. I
Mm-hmm.
write to the characters. Yeah. Uh, I'm a mix between writing down what I see my characters doing and what they feel, and writing to myself, because I am my best audience. So if there's a scene that I am not quite sure about, like what the character will do to react, or which way I want the character to actually go, and if the characters aren't helping me at all, then I try to think of what I would want to read. So yeah, it's a mix between doing what the characters want and doing what I would enjoy.
Mm-hmm. And I think that that's part of what you were trying to describe yesterday, about these books that you're doing right now, because you really put in the effort of, oh, but I would enjoy doing this, and so that's the reason you like those books so much.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because they're everything I laugh at.
They're amazing. I've been able to read some of it, and I can't wait, because oh my gosh, I was laughing. I was like, "No, I'm over here reacting to her writing like, "No, don't," or "Oh no, sure, no, no." And like I would actually turn red for the character. Like I was it was that bad. So I was just like, "Oh, you got a winner there. This group of books is going to be great."
Nice. All right. Yes, I'm so glad. I really am. That is just awesome. I love that. Uh Mel says, I write the story I've always wanted to read and could never find, and for people's reactions. Probably now more for watching people's faces. Yeah. Yeah. She's watched my face a lot of times whenever I read her stuff. Heather says, guys left and I walked the dog, then came back in time for 11 Z's. And I have been cleaning up the baking stuff. Yes. Yeah, same. If anything, I write to me. I tried writing my books to a reader avatar that I thought would be my reader, but realized that I was incorrect in who that avatar was supposed to be. And that's another thing. If you can't,
The pitfall.
yeah, if you can't visualize who your reader avatar is, because I read a wide range of books and I know that I am my reader. I don't know that anybody else likes the same things that I do specifically. I
Mhm.
like a broad range. Like I know Rach likes fantasy. I know Rach likes urban fantasy. I know Rach likes Mexi Times. But does she also like Jane Austen stuff? I don't know. So you know, um, yeah. So I think having yourself as your reader avatar isn't necessarily a bad thing. I know some people think that it is, but if you write to yourself, then you're never going to be disappointed in your writing. And you will be stronger. Oh, Jojo.
He is snoring. That's why I was like, "Dang, girl."
Yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, I think if you just write to yourself, you will find more joy in your work, in your author career. That's just me. Um,
You can write to me because I like reading the. I
okay.
can tell you what I like reading too. He's trying on a few new things, y'all.
Good. Good. That's awesome. All right. Let's see. And this is the last question I have. So if y'all have questions, be sure to drop them in. That's a big one. Okay. How do you know when to try something new in your processes? Do you wait till you get burnt out too often, or what are the signs you need to change up a few things instead of keep on pushing? This is a hard one. So I was
Yeah.
hesitant to put this one up.
Yeah, that's so I got into burnout the first time and realized, okay, no, no, we don't want to do that again. So I try to recognize when something's not working right. Um, do I wait till I burn out? No, I don't. Okay, so my answer to that question is I do not wait until I burn out anymore because for me, if I get burnt out, it's going to take a month at least for me to pop back. It's that's bad. It's that bad. That's not to say I'm not productive. I just can't write, and that's the whole point. Is you're supposed to be able to write. Um, what's the signs that you need to change up things? When you're no longer looking forward to it. When you're like, I got to do this. You know, it's like right now I am enjoying even the revisions. I'm not one that really enjoys revisions anyway, and I admit that freely. But I'm actually enjoying going back through these drafts and making revisions because I really am enjoying this portion of the book. And you can ask beta reader here how long it took the last book to get to her. Well, because I got into the middle of it and was like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to do this. And so I would find anything else to do except that.
Yeah.
So it's like when you start feeling that way, you need to take a step back and find something else to focus on or do so that you figure out, okay, so we need to change some things up, maybe incentivize things. I don't know, something, maybe only do so much of it per day instead of trying to do it constantly all the time until you get it done, that kind of thing. And that's part of the reason I don't set myself up for pre-orders. I don't set myself up for uh, rock solid release dates. I just set it up for, hey, in fall, that's when I'm going to release this book because I know me and I know that I would deliver a lackluster product if I forced myself to do it by a deadline. So that's why, you know. So I hope that gave some answer beyond meandering around.
Yeah.
What's
Did
yours?
did good. Um, I so this year I pushed into burnout and I tried to push through burnout and that did not work.
That never works.
So that's where I'm sitting at right now. I pushed through my burnout and I am sitting at I can't do stuff at all. I want to say another word, but um, and that's just it's not a good place to be. It is not a good feeling. It sucks so bad. And with my diagnoses, it drives deeper into depression and stuff. So be careful, learn yourself, and do not push into burnout. Whatever you do, just don't. Um, and I realized that I need to go back to what I was doing when I first started the HB90 method because that schedule was easier
Hmm.
and it allowed more freedom. Like I could switch up tasks depending on the way I felt that day instead of trying to be bullheaded about it and saying I need to do this today and nothing else. And if I can't do this, then I'm not doing anything else. So yeah, just go with the flow and don't be afraid to try new things. HB90 method was a lifesaver. I know for me, and I'm pretty sure it was for you too.
Okay, so I wouldn't have gotten any of this accomplished. Like literally, I was floating for at least 2 years trying to get the same stuff accomplished because I didn't have a time management system. Now, that's not to say that I am rigid about my time management. You can get as granular as you want, and that's part of the appeal to the HB90 system. It's actually like she's basically taken several different time management systems that were already out there and she's melded them together. And that way you can actually go, okay, well, she's simplified it for me. That's fantastic. and then you can go as granular as you want, or you can be like, yeah, I'm just going to do like a to-do list here today, and then we're going to make sure that we're actually doing it instead of playing around on the internet. So there's that. I really liked it. And that's why I went back to it. Like, there for a while I wasn't doing it. So I got myself a binder, and that's what I've got in here is I've printed out, the HB90 stuff. See, so that I can keep track of what I'm actually doing with my time and prove to myself, you've got enough time, try this,
Hey, Gwenna. Only here for just a bit before my shift. Have to go over some critiques from CPs. Yes, I'm writing a genre totally out of my wheelhouse. You got this. I believe in you. Sophisticated. I said oof, and autocorrect changed it to sophisticated.
That's great. That's a new one.
That's awesome. Oof was in response to the question was yeah, it is a toughie.
What's your opinion on it though, Gwenna?
I think I laughed at burnout as I flew right past that into insanity. I feel this. Between working a job, writing books, and doing web design, I am constantly busy and don't have time for burnout. I get that. I totally get that. Mel says, oh, that's a question. Hold on. I did a really dumb thing to try to get out of burnout, and it backfired big time. I put everything else aside to push through. I'm still not out of that quagmire. I feel you there.
So even like this challenge that we're doing in August, like I may be doing like the words and stuff, but I've got 4 projects listed. I've decided that actually works for me because I'm not. Okay, let me put it this way. I'm not expecting myself to finish any of these projects, but I expect myself to work on the projects, at least 3 of them.
Yeah.
The 4th one is just there in case I'm getting burned out on one of these. I can go to the 4th one. That's that way burnout doesn't happen.
Yeah. Like the My Husband Wants series, that was me feeding the well to try to keep from burnout, but then that last book of the series pushed me into the burnout. So yeah, be flexible in your projects because one can feed the well when the other one is like pushing you into burnout. So yeah, feel free to switch it up. Burnout is tough. Yes, agree.
Also,
right.
Somebody that I know of is putting together a specific book on burnout, and her name is Kay Parquet, and she's wonderful. She's really sweet, and she has a Substack too, and that's one of the things she focuses on is burnout because she allowed burnout to get her to the point of medical problems because she was so stressed out, and she doesn't want anybody to go through what she went through. So I'll see if I can grab a link and put it up too.
Yeah. Cat Paul says, I'll do a challenge in October or something. Right now it's too hot to even think half the time. Post a link. Oh, that's so intriguing. I can't wait to see that come out from her. Yes. Yes, that would be awesome. All right. While you're finding the link, I'll read this question. How do you know when to step back from editing and pass it to beta readers? Because I know personally I can edit something into the ground forever. So this one.
I'll have to reread that. How do you know?
I make myself stop at round 4 or 5 of edits and pass it off.
3 is the charm.
Yeah, 3's for Rach. I think 3 for Maggie too, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong.
The last one was 2,
2.
actually.
Okay.
But yeah, the beta readers are there mainly. I mean, I appreciate y'all telling me when I mess something up, grammar, etc. Or like if I overuse a word, I love that because I never catch it. But beta readers are to me there to tell me, hey, so the pacing doesn't feel right, or hey, did you realize that you left the plot hole back there and I just stumbled right into it? Or are you going to do something about this later? What's up? Um, or why are we going into this point of view? I don't understand. You know, they catch the things that my brain is completely blind to. They don't have to worry about stuff that's like grammar and spelling and stuff like that unless it bothers them. And then that's important because, Jen is the plural of Jeannie. And Mama Maggie was like, hey, you need to figure this out one way or another. Because I was like, yeah, I know. I get it. It bothers me too. But I was just like, we're just trying to get through this draft. But yeah. So yeah, they're there for that purpose. I'm there when I'm beta reading and I'm like, I can tell this has not gone to the editor. That's okay because that's the editor's job. I'm here to tell you about the other stuff. So you don't have to polish it to send it to a beta reader, in my opinion. It has to be close to the finished product, yes. But once you get into that where you're just constantly polishing and polishing and polishing, I mean, there are people, I guarantee you, I could go back to book number 1 and polish it more.
Yeah.
But you got to come to a point where you release it into the wild, and just like that, you have to release it to the beta reader so that you can get that feedback. Because then you can polish it once the beta reader gives you the feedback. Gotta let go of it. I'm still trying to find the link.
Yeah, don't sit on a project for 5 years just because you don't think it's ready. And you will never think that it's ready, especially on your first one. Because you feel like your first one has to be perfect. And it's okay. Do what you can for, 2 to 5 rounds of edits, and then send it to beta readers. And then send it to your editor after you do things for the beta readers. Cat Paw wants to know that too. Kay is an amazing friend. Losing the whole is a fear. You got this. Trust me, you got this. Had to make myself send it off last week instead of making additions, but there was one more that I said I was going to put in my manuscript doing that today. Nice. Not finding one either. Feel called out. It's hard to let go. I know.
It is hard to let go, but yeah, you got to.
Dawn says, I never think ours are ready because me. See? Yeah. It's ready. It's good. The cat Sith. Yes. I mean, the fairy cat. Yeah. I'm not going to try to pronounce that because I barely remember the pronunciation tag beside it, so I'm just not. Yeah, it's kind of Gaelic. Oh goodness.
Well,
She.
I am just not having good luck here. What I'm finding is her newsletter, which is for her fiction part. So I'm having to dig deeper for the other stuff. But I will definitely give you her website.
She. Okay. There we go. I knew it was something simple. I just couldn't.
I found her blog. Yay! Here we go.
Okay, so there's the link to Kay's blog. Make sure to check that out. Subscribe. Always subscribe. Margaret says she's got burnout posts on her Substack, so that may be where she'll post the release info. Yeah. Definitely. All right. What else we got?
Anybody else got a topic? Revising and rewriting my books. Yes, that is what we were discussing earlier.
She made a graphic with her Substack link, which is clever to lure people away from IG onto her own turf.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Substack is more one's own turf because you can do so much with it, and it's yours. They try to make it yours. You still have control over it. It's just.
But so per what Margaret is saying, just be aware that it is still not your turf, though.
Yeah. You still have to download everybody's
be careful.
information.
Yeah. Be careful, like if you've got people who are subscribed to your Substack, to go ahead and like be downloading their information, their emails, and everything too, because just like any other, it's like they. Okay, how do I put this without being mean? I can't. Okay, so they make it appear that it's your turf, but if you do anything that they don't like, you can have that turf taken out from underneath you. So just be careful.
Yeah.
Oh, Margaret, I've seen reports of a couple of people losing their Substack.
Wow. Okay.
So be aware.
At the bottom of her main page. Okay. Be mean.
Oh, I can be really mean, but I'm trying not to be mean. We did go over, in case you got here later than how we had started off. We started off because we had a question. Was it a question or was it just a topic? The fact that we were talking about the different vendors and events and stuff, and vetting book conventions.
Yeah, it was both a question just because of all the TikTok fiascos that everybody noticed. So, well, not everybody, but a lot of people noticed.
If any of you guys have vetting suggestions and stuff for others, please put them in the chat because that's important. We're going. I thought that there was a festival or a convention season, but honestly, I've found conventions and festivals from January all the way through December. So,
yeah. 99% of those VC tech bros need a kick in the pants.
They do.
All right, so I found it actually on YouTube. There's this channel. I forget the name of it, but he goes over like TikTok drama that is related to comics, manga, and books. If I can find it, we watched it on my hub's channel, so I'm not making any promises because he's subscribed to thousands of people. But if I can find it, I'll definitely drop the link. But yeah, that's where I found it, and I went down the rabbit hole with that. It's sad.
I've been witnessing authors on Facebook warning other authors about events that have gone bust, or event coordinators who are pocketing money and then not paying attention to what happens at the events. We ran into, like, we've been vetting stuff, so there were some conventions locally that apparently, like, some of them run by the same coordinator work out fantastic. They're great, but some of the other ones, like, that we went to this year, was like, oh, well, we have one room that we're using for the convention, and we have one room that is really crowded, and we hardly have any air conditioning for vendors, the vendor fair. And it was just so, I mean, we decided we're not going to do it because they were charging quite a lot for the tables to be able to be in this place. And I'm like, okay, well, but then, we've gone to other events to vet, and they happen to have an event. Hubs went to it, seemed legit, seemed nice, but there wasn't any marketing done, so they weren't getting that much of a crowd. So I mean, it's just, and then you hear the people, you talk to the people who are there that have come to these events before, and they're like, oh yeah, last year was fantastic. We did double profit, this, that, and the other. It was fantastic, and that's the reason we came back. And it's like, well, then what's the difference? What's going on? And that's where you've got to do a little bit of digging to figure out, well, did they change personnel? Did they change companies? Is there something going on with the company that things didn't work out as well this year? There's there's been actually one, I'll have to find it, but if some of the authors were talking about that they're fighting to get their refunds.
Yeah.
At this point, because there literally was no event. Like, it wasn't just um, misleading. It was, there was no event.
Yeah.
And then the organizers canceled, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll have you your refund within 30 days. And 3 months later, they're talking about having to get legal involved.
And that's going to cost them even more money. And it's not guaranteed that they'll win.
Not all authors have the money for that.
Exactly. We like the link to that. I don't TikTok. Yeah. So I dropped the link. I found him. It's actually easy to find. Yay.
Yay.
Especially right for Conning are the romantasy readers with all their balls and such, which is heartbreaking. Yeah. And Margaret also dropped some links too, so make sure to check those out.
But on a good note, some of these same authors that are having to deal with this also dropped some links to legit organizations that they've had wonderful times with. So I appreciated that too. And
Yeah.
this is just different various authors that I follow on Facebook. So, you know, it helps to be networking with other authors to find out the tea before you jump into something that sounds wonderful but might not be legit.
Yeah. Emperor has no closure retellings in real life be hitting a bit too hard these days. Yeah. Like there's one that I saw, it's a first time convention and it's going to be in Pigeon Forge. And I'm like, we're going to wait on this one. But she has also run another convention, but it was small, which I like small conventions. They're home. But there's 50-50. Some authors loved it. Some authors were like, well, I was promised this and I didn't get it. So it might just be that she's new to it and she's still working out the kinks and stuff, but I'm holding off to see how the Pigeon Forge ones go in, I think it's November. So yeah.
I'm definitely a proponent of going ahead and buying a cheaper ticket to go
Mm-hmm.
see what it's like as somebody that's just a guest there to see the
Mm-hmm.
convention before buying in as a vendor.
Yeah.
Plus, you get to see how they treat authors versus artists versus uh, retailer. Was that the right word? Retailer? Somebody
Vendor.
that's just selling merchandise. Because not like some merchandise is like ordered merchandise. It's not art and it's not authorship
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And sometimes I've gone to some conventions and they're a little bit different on how they treat different people. And then there's also placement.
Yeah.
So
And there's also, not to get political or anything like that, there's also conventions that support certain people that you don't necessarily want to support as well. So that's a good thing to network with the artists and other authors and vendors and stuff that go to these conventions because they know what's going on. I know there's a couple of conventions around here that one of my friends refuses to go to because they still allow a unsavory character to run cosplay contests.
ooh,
Yeah, so just keep that in mind. Um, do as much research as you can. A lot of the vendors and artists and authors that go to these conventions, they don't mind you reaching out and asking them questions. Most of the people that I've met at conventions have been really friendly. So, yeah. And there's always a list of people who are attending and people who are going to have tables and all that good stuff. So, yeah. And organize my own. We're not getting into that.
we've already been talking about it, but it's a lot. So
Yeah.
my
No.
first thought is how many local licenses and stuff do we have to deal with to be able to do this?
Mm-mm. I don't even. No. No.
Sam's like, look, we talked you into a winter author tube marathon,
Yeah,
so
that was a lot. I didn't have to put out any money. I just had to organize a few things. That's fine. It's like herding cats. I don't want to herd cats and herd professionals and herd
people were like
whatever.
herding raptors.
Right?
That's what's scary.
Yeah. Pettiness is frustrating and rewarding most of the time. Yeah, definitely. The insurance alone, exactly. And
From
the
what I understand, the insurance costs just as much as the event itself.
mhm. So we have a friend, Chris Ross, who has been to conventions all of his life because he was right there with my husband. And he started his own convention. So he just listening to him and all the things that he had to do in order to start that, I'm like, nah. You have fun.
It's like I knew that you were insane, but I didn't realize you were that level.
He's like two different insanities wrapped up in the one person. He's glorious. You remember him and what he did on stage. I remember him the first time I remember Chris Ross, he was playing cosplay chess. And he was inebriated.
As one tends to be when you play cosplay chess.
And it was hilarious. It was, oh my gosh. That was the best cosplay chess event I had ever been to.
That sounds interesting, actually.
I wonder if there's a video of it. There's got to be a video of it.
I hope so because That sounds fun.
Yeah.
That sounds funny and fun at the same time.
I know there's all the AMV hells from Animazement up on YouTube. And he worked a couple of those, like a couple of early ones, I think, with Phil. So hold on, let me see if I can find that too.
We're finding stuff. That's what I was looking for, that original post, but this particular author that had posted about this, she posts prolifically and has a new grandchild, so that means double the post. When you have a grandkid, that's like, okay.
Yep.
Oh well.
Wow. Way
Well,
to
I mean,
go.
you can just make sure that you're looking around the author spaces and finding these things. Apparently, so I don't do a lot on Threads, but apparently Threads is also a place to find these kind of things. And I was told to be careful though when you're on Threads, because you can say one thing and the next thing you know, everybody's like dogpiling you. And I was like, I'm barely there, so hey, no problem.
Is this the right one? That was awful easy to find if it was.
I think if you can make the fair or convention part of an organization's programming, you can ask them to partner so they can provide the underwriting space while you do all the organizing and recruiting. Okay.
Yeah, there's the channel I was talking about, AMV Hell. It has Otakon in it too. So it's Animazement and Otakon. They did.
And we had friends that have gone to Animazement, so I knew that if we ever decide to do that, that's a legit thing right there. So even though I've never attended,
Let me know and I'll get you in contact with either Sabrina or Kat, and I'll hook you up.
nice. I like hookups. All meanings.
There's that one. Okay. Programming yes, and partner. So they would provide the underwriting space while you do all the organizing, recruiting. Yeah. That worked for Jola for 2 years.
Oh gosh, I know that if I ever wanted to do something like this, I would definitely be taking on sponsors and people that can help fund it, because I'm broke, so that's just not going to happen for me.
Yeah.
And also, I don't want to take money from people coming as vendors and rely too heavily on that, because
Exactly.
I believe that that's one of the issues that a lot of these convention planners are having.
Yeah. If you can get like a college to help, because they can use their students for labor,
Yeah.
and it counts towards like one of their credits or something to a scholarship that they have or whatever. That's what Animazement does. I think, or used to.
Good idea.
Um,
You can provide all of them with a letter of recommendation for the work that they've done.
Exactly. Last time I was there, it was still a big high school college crowd. Yeah. Yeah. Which is odd because a lot of the organizers are now our age, 40s and 50s. And yeah, they're taking care of the children.
Yeah, that's a double-edged sword right there. People taking the promo material, but then they don't look your stuff up later. So,
yeah, fees were like 20 to 25, so it wasn't breaking anyone's bank. But still, do you make that back in the day? Probably not. But a lot of people took your promo material. Yeah.
Yeah, Dragon Con relies heavily on volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
We knew people who volunteered every year, and they worked with celebrities, so they could tell all of us all the stories. You know, we love the tea. I can't help it. It's like who's a butthead and who's really a nice guy, you know, of the celebrities.
Yeah, we had a friend who worked Dragon Con, and she told us a lot of tea. Um, I went to Dragon Con once, and I was on the emergency services side, and I swore I would never go again. So yeah, um, Mel used to be in the club that ran it when it first started, if I remember right. Yeah. Back when it was in before the Sheraton, because I think AZ was held once at the college, and then they booked the Sheraton, and now they're at the Raleigh Convention Center.
They grew.
Yeah, leaps and bounds. Dragon Con also did that working in Georgia Tech, yep, to get volunteers and, of course, asking other people for volunteering. Heather says the nonprofit organization that runs Necronomicon Tampa is Stonehill Science Fiction Club. There you go. And the other annual program is called Southern Media Convention. It's pretty cool.
So in that case, you can actually even probably get grants and stuff if you have somebody that can write them.
Yeah. Not to keep talking about Animazement, but Animazement was Japanese culture. That's what they started as. It was a Japanese culture convention. And then anime and manga kind of took over.
As it does.
Yeah. The Sheraton said no more. Yeah,
There comes a point when a hotel stops making as good money as they're having to deal with all of these things.
Yeah.
All this extra staff, all this extra cleaning. I get that.
Yeah.
I think that's the reason most of them go to convention centers.
Yeah, because Raleigh Convention Center, you can't do the Tamagotchi ball like we did at the Sheraton.
Please tell me what this is because I don't know.
So, whoever is the troublemaker of the year starts a ball, and it could be gum, it could be like one of those sticky hands in a ball, and you keep rolling it throughout the convention, and you gather all the stuff. There was one where I know personally it was about 6 foot tall.
Whoa.
And
And
that
see,
was
this is why you have to have insurance.
exactly. And it was also one of the last years that we were at the Sheraton.
Understand that now. But we cleaned up so much trash.
I think the Pirate Ninja War and Dodgeball didn't help. The Dodgeball certainly didn't help. All of our programs are nonprofit.
My income streams in a different light.
I remember there was one year with the Tamagotchi ball, somebody's wallet got swallowed up by the ball, and they tear it apart. Yeah. I don't know if that was the same year that it got so tall or what. Yeah, Heather diversified income streams is different light. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Oh, conventions. So much fun. All right. Is there anything else that we want to talk about? Any questions from the chat? Since we went off the rails again, as we always do.
Oh, yeah. I will probably have some designated questions for next week, too, because I've got a couple that I'm thinking about, but they're not anything that could be answered in a certain amount of time. So I don't want to bring them up right now.
Okay. Nonprofit, unfortunately, equals low funds for PR and such. Yeah. That's when you get somebody who can back you that has the money to spend on specifically the PR and stuff. Lovely to see you guys this morning. Thank you. See you during the week for any agitation, August books or guests you fancy.
Margaret is doing that special right now. And
Yeah.
she has a wrench, so she needs to put some, if she's got one scheduled anyway, put it there.
Yes. Yes. So maybe you have an idea there. All right.
Come to the
Hmm?
Are
Go
we
ahead.
come to the end or?
I think so. We did a good hour.
Yeah.
And we only went off the rails for the last 10 minutes?
Every day this week, Margaret is putting graphics on Blue Sky, community tab, and IG. So, and I'll put mine up because I'm going to be going into doing sprints after this.
Yes.
So,
please do.
I have a book that I want to get done.
So. Yeah, I have got to get back in the habit of something. I don't know what. I don't care what. It has to be something.
Well, I was telling Maggie the other day is just like it's not that there's a set time for me. I can't do a set time. Life is just too chaotic. So the idea is just to try every day that is possible to get some words in. Whereas before, I don't know if this is an ADHD thing or what, but sometimes when you have something that breaks your day, you then decide your brain just decides, well, then I'm just taking the day, you know, or your brain is so worked up on an appointment that you have in the middle of the afternoon that you don't get anything accomplished all morning because you're so focused on that appointment in the middle of the afternoon. Yep. And I've got to kind of break that habit.
Agreed. Mine is so if I get angry like right after I wake up, that like destroys my whole day. So I'm having to like rework that.
It's like you just it's like that Shrek moment. You're just like, okay, well, I may be angry, but I'm gonna go outside and I'm going to blow up a snake and burst a I'm gonna burst a bird or something and then come back in and I'll be in a better mood.
Yeah. Here lately it's just been digging out all the weeds and everything and trying to make flower beds and whatnot.
I tell you, physical activity sometimes it's very helpful to get rid of rage.
Yeah. Very much so. I'm going to get to the market trip done, then tie myself to the chair and get something done. Yes. All right. So do you want to do your outro?
Thank you, everybody, for showing up. We try to be here every Sunday at 11 a.m. And if you've got questions during the week, be sure to write them down for us so that you can ask it when we go live. And that's my phone telling me, hey, you need to be careful. It's getting close to time. You can find me on Substack under Aggressively Helpful Writing Advice. You can find me on YouTube. I just put a link to my channel up. And then you can find me at racheldadams.com for all the other goodies.
Yeah, and there's your link tree too. There we go. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Breaking the Block. We always have a lot of fun, and thank you for bringing your questions. Bring more. We enjoy hashing things out and trying to help each other. And we will see you next Sunday for another episode of Breaking the Block right here. Bye.